I think what probably hurt Luther, the band, and Luther Vandross, the band leader, was that Cotillion wasn't really a major label. What's going on, everybody? You're right on time for day number 9 of the 25 Days of Christmas here on the Groove Line. I'm your host, Chris Stevens. Hopefully you all are doing well out there. It is Tuesday, and we're still in the middle of feeling our feelings, as it were. And another Christmas song that reminds me of simpler times and more family-oriented days is At Christmas Time by Luther. Now, you're probably wondering, why are you not saying Luther Vandross? Because there's a story behind this. Follow closely. So Luther Vandross, the great singer we all know and love, the late Luther Vandross, he got his start doing background work, well, his professional music start, we'll say, doing background work for David Bowie on the Young Americans album. And Bowie was so impressed with him that he started talking Luther up everywhere he went. So Luther got a band together and a group together, and he signed to Cotillion Records, and the group was simply called Luther. So they Cotillion put out a funky Christmas compilation in 1976, and Luther, the band, had 2 songs on there. But Luther was so disappointed with how poorly those 2 records he did for Cotillion sold that he bought the rights back, and his estate did not release those until last year. Highly recommend you check those out. I'll probably end up reviewing them at some point in time. But one of the songs that Luther bought back, but ended up re-releasing himself on the This Is Christmas album, which came out in 1995. Damn, 30 years ago. Good Lord, where does the time go? And At Christmas Time was one of those songs on the record. And it's like this very smooth, like the horns in the beginning and the little cymbal, you know, and then here comes Luther. Every year at Christmas time, I hear the people laughing, smiling, being happy again. Luther Vandross, I am not. You know this. But that song just reminds me of WDAS playing that thing at least twice a day. Again, helping my mom with the tree, watching her and my grandmother cook and all of this other stuff. And that's one Christmas song that I have to play on the very first day of what I deem the Christmas season, which of course is the day after Thanksgiving. I put my tree up, I light my house up, and that song figures prominently in my prep for doing all of that, cleaning the house up, putting up the lights, putting up the tree, all of that good stuff. And there's the bridge where he says, I wish that every day of the year we could give the love that we all give on Christmas Day. Like Luther, he might have been thought of as a balladeer, but he still had love for the human condition. And for him to be 25 years old talking about, I just wish that every day we could all give the love that we give each other on Christmas Day. It's pretty solid statement. But again, the Luther era kind of gets lost in the shuffle because Luther didn't want it to be in the shuffle at all. He just said, you know what? I'm gonna buy these records back, and they will never see the light of day. And it took almost 20 years after his passing for his estate to say, okay, I think we can let him out now. People need to listen to it. And they're not, and those are not bad records either. Like, I think what probably hurt Luther, the band, and Luther Vandross, the band leader, was that Cotillion wasn't really a major label. Cotillion was a subsidiary of Atlantic Records. So they weren't the big label. Cotillion was just sponsored by Atlantic, basically. And they didn't have the same, promotion as a major. So that hurt Luther, the band, and Luther, the group. And Luther just said, you know what? I'm going to go back doing background work. And thankfully, God rest Roberta Flack's soul, she said, you too good for this. Like, she literally fired that man. She said, get your butt out of here and go get you another record deal. Then, of course, Epic Records answered the call. And then, of course, he released Luther Vandross, self-titled, in 1981, and he was on his way. And so all that years later, he comes out with the This Is Christmas album, which has a lot of great songs. One of my personal favorites that we're definitely going to discuss during this 25 Days of Christmas. And he just happens to throw At Christmas Time on it. Now, mind you, there are people that had not heard that song in almost 20 years, and they just were like, I thought I'd never hear this again. And those of us who weren't around during the Luther Cotillion era were like, wow, this sounds like something out of the 70s. And then our parents and our elders would tell us, that's because it is from the 70s, you young pup. It's like, okay, I get it now. So that was, that was one of the first instances that I, as a 14-year-old, learned about, music industry stuff. Learning that, hey, people used to sit on music and then release it or re-record it or reproduce it or whenever they felt the need. So it was like, okay, you learn something new every day. At 14, that was a huge lesson. It was like, wow, maybe sometimes something's better off sitting in the tuck a little bit. That's usually how it works. But yeah, at Christmas time, it's just a wonderful song. It literally just another one of those songs that just fills you up with warm feelings inside for the holidays if you have that capacity for it. And if you haven't heard it, highly recommend you go check it out. Tell us what you think. If you have heard it, be sure to let us know what you like about it. What's your memories of At Christmas Time by Luther Vandross, and let us know what you think. And that's going to do it for day number 9 of the 25 days of Christmas here on the Groove Line. Greatly appreciate y'all as always. Contact information will be in the description below. Be sure to subscribe, tap that notification bell so you're notified of all the new videos that drop on this channel. Don't forget to like and comment on these videos because, we're closing in on 500 subs. And, the more conversations we have, the more likes, the more views and all of that, this channel can grow. So thank you guys for riding with me on the Groove Line. And until the next time we ride, may you find the groove or may the groove find you.